get CMS refunds. And there's a lot of those that we don't want to pay for. And so we tried everything that we could to figure out how to do that because they're approved, all of them are approved for surgical pain and immediately post-surgical while you're still in the hospital. And we tried to figure out how to get them to change the label so that they would continue to apply even after you left the hospital. But if we did that, it would open up CMS to tens of billions of dollars in costs for pills that are not covered right now that people just buy in the drugstore.
America First Voice is back with another hard-hitting reaction. Today we're reacting to this House Appropriations Committee hearing where HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is laying out a bold plan to approve American vapes as fast as possible to kick Chinese illegal vapes out of our market. Let me tell you, patriots, this is refreshing common sense in an agency that's been captured by big pharma and global interests for far too long. If you believe we should put American workers, American innovation, and American health first instead of letting China flood our streets with junk, smash that like button right now and subscribe. Let's dive in. Representative Chuck Fleischmann asks RFK Jr. about the massive problem of illegal e-vapes coming in from China. RFK doesn't dodge it. He talks about participating in big busts, confiscating 1 million Chinese vapes, and the regulatory roadblocks they're clearing. The key line? They're working to approve American-made vapes as quickly as we can so they can crack down harder on the foreign garbage. Here's my unfiltered take as a right-wing patriot and America First warrior. This is exactly the kind of pragmatic, pro-American thinking we need more of. For years, the FDA has been slow-walking approvals, strangling American businesses with red tape while cheap, unregulated Chinese vapes, often loaded with who knows what chemicals, pour across our borders and into the hands of kids and adults.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Mr. Secretary. I want to, at the outset, thank you for your thoughtful, constructive, and really outstanding participation today. I know you've faced some adversity and the like. I chair the Energy and Water Subcommittee. I'm the cardinal there, and I promise not to ask you any energy questions. But I have a great affinity for this subcommittee, so I'm going to try to limit my questions to relevant topics. My first question, sir, in January of 2025, the FDA approved the first oral self-administered non-opioid to treat moderate to severe pain. I think this is really a big accomplishment. It's my understanding, though, that now, nearly a year later, Medicare Part D plans are not covering newly approved non-opioids, which provide patients and prescribers with these alternatives. I'd rather ask this in the most benign way, because I know you've been through a lot today. Would you commit to working to help to ensure that Medicare beneficiaries would have access to opioid alternatives? And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing everything that we can to make that happen. There was a complication because if you allow certain companies to change their label for non-surgical pain, it then applies to every non-surgical painkiller across the board, and they all then get CMS refunds. And there's a lot of those that we don't want to pay for. And so we tried everything that we could to figure out how to do that because they're approved, all of them are approved for surgical pain and immediately post-surgical while you're still in the hospital. And we tried to figure out how to get them to change the label so that they would continue to apply even after you left the hospital. But if we did that, it would open up CMS to tens of billions of dollars in costs for pills that are not covered right now that people just buy in the drugstore.
Thank you, sir. My final question deals with illegal e-vape products. It's my understanding, Mr. Secretary, that this is a staggering problem. A lot of these apparently come in from China into the U.S. market. And my question for you is that last year, Congress directed the FDA to dedicate $200 million towards enforcement to crack down on illicit vapes and illicit nicotine products. Do you know how those funds are going to be spent, and what are your thoughts on this issue?
Well, some of it has been spent on enforcement. I participated with Pam Bondi in a big bust in Illinois. I think we confiscated 1 million vapes that were Chinese. There's a complication because a regulatory complication within FDA because we were not able to get enough American vapes approved for this country. There's a giant market. People are using those vapes to quit smoking, which is something that we like. And it was further complicated about whether or not we should allow the companies to make vapes that were designed essentially to attract children, cotton candy, and bubblegum flavors. So which flavors we would approve, menthol, tobacco, versus those. And that got caught up in the regulatory process. And we are doing everything we can now to approve American vapes as quickly as we can. And as soon as we get a few more on the market, we'll be able to do the bust of the Chinese vapes more aggressively.
Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Secretary, I began with thanks. Let me conclude with thanks. I appreciate your service in this position and to this administration. Thank you, sir. And I yield back.
RFK Jr. is right to prioritize getting safe, regulated American products on the market so we can enforce the law against the flood of illicit imports. China has been waging economic warfare on us for decades, stealing intellectual property, dumping cheap products, and undermining American manufacturing. Vapes are just the latest battlefield. Why should we let communist China dominate this market while American companies sit on the sidelines waiting for bureaucrats to approve their products? This hurts our workers, our economy, and public health. RFK mentions the complication with flavors, cotton candy and bubblegum flavors designed to attract kids. As a patriot and parent, I agree 100%. We must protect children. No kid-friendly marketing or flavors that hook the next generation. But for adults trying to quit smoking, that's a different story. Traditional cigarettes kill hundreds of thousands of Americans every year. If vaping helps people quit, and real-world data shows many do switch, then regulated American vapes are a harm reduction tool, not the enemy. This aligns perfectly with the Make America Healthy Again mission. Instead of just banning everything and driving people to the black market, which is exactly what's happening with Chinese vapes, we should regulate smartly. Approve high-quality American products with strict age limits, clear labeling, and no youth appeal. Crush the illegal imports at the border. That's true leadership. Let's be honest, the old FDA under Biden was more interested in corporate capture by Big Pharma than actual health outcomes. They dragged their feet on approvals, while American innovators suffered. RFK Jr., despite some past disagreements I've had with him, is showing right now that he's willing to cut bureaucracy and put America first on health policy. That's something every patriot can respect. This also ties into broader America First priorities. Secure borders, stop the flood of illegal Chinese products just like we stop illegal drugs and migrants. Bring manufacturing home. Approve American vapes so factories and jobs stay in the USA, not China. Energy dominance and economic strength. Every American industry we revive weakens our adversaries. Parental rights and child protection keep harmful flavors away from kids while giving adults real choices. As a constitutional conservative, I believe government should get out of the way of responsible adults while protecting the vulnerable. The war on nicotine has largely failed. People are going to use products. Better they use regulated, American-made ones than Chinese mystery chemicals shipped through our porous southern border or ports. The left will scream that any approval of vapes is giving up on public health. Wrong. True public health means being realistic, not puritanical. Smoking rates drop dramatically with vaping in places with smart policy. We can do the same here, while rebuilding American industry. Deeper opinion as a right-wing patriot. RFK Jr. getting this right shows the Trump administration is willing to think outside the box. We don't need more endless bans that create black markets. We need enforcement against China, fast-tracked approvals for domestic companies, and a focus on actual harm reduction. This is how you make America healthy and wealthy again. We must also address the root causes of addiction, cultural decay, broken families, mental health crisis, not just products. But in the meantime, don't let China poison our people for profit. Final message: passionate, direct to camera. Patriots, this hearing is a win for common sense. Support RFK Jr. where he's right, cracking down on Chinese vapes and backing American innovation. Demand faster approvals, stronger border enforcement on imports, and real protection for our kids. If this fires you up, comment below. Should we fast-track American vape approvals to fight China? Do you support harm reduction for adult smokers? What's your take on RFK and HHS? Smash like if you stand for America First health policy. Subscribe, hit the bell, and share with every patriot. We need strong borders, strong manufacturing, real health freedom, and an unapologetic defense of American greatness. Stay vigilant. Stay healthy. God bless our troops. God bless President Trump. God bless RFK Jr. for fighting bureaucracy. And God bless the United States of America, the greatest nation on earth.